Welcome everyone to the Nebulum podcast. The theme of this cast is fulfillment. So if you want to be free, if you're tired of a mundane life, if you just want to live your dream, and if you want more meaning from the work you do, and you don't want to be caught up in this cookie cutter conveyor belt that we're put on, then this podcast is for you. We'll discuss different topics that will help you live a more fulfilled life. We'll sometimes have guests to talk about their journey, and we want you to walk away with a feeling that is inspired and also be equipped with mindsets and tools and different tactics to help you along your journey. So, I'm Zale,
I'm Grant.
and this is the Nebulum podcast.
Yeah, it is. What are we talking about today? That's my answers. We're talking about validation. But why are we talking about validation?
Why are we talking about validation?
Well, great question. Validation is almost a need. It can be kind of a need. And today we'll talk about external validation, internal validation. You hear it talked about a lot. Oh, with social media, getting likes on your post is external validation, and how a need for external validation can, it can have downsides, but it also is an important part of the human experience, getting validation for things that we do. And it can often be a signal to whether what we're doing or giving has value and is giving value. But at the same time, we don't want to be, we're too reliant on it, because if we're too reliant on validation in the beginning of a journey is usually not when you get that validation. It's usually when people are like, your dream is stupid. What are you doing? Get a normal job. Get at 9 to 5, man. Get your bread. What you're doing is stupid. At the beginning of your journey, if your journey is one where the path is not very well traveled, or it's traveled by few, for example, a professional musician, there might be a lot of people trying to sway you away from doing something like that because it's not easy and not many people walk that path. However, getting that validation can also be really energizing, when someone's like, oh, like I heard your song is dope, man. That validation can be super energizing too. So here to talk about all the different aspects of validation on the journey, because it's a human need and it can energize us on the path, but also a lack of validation can be really disheartening on the path.
Yeah.
And we need to know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
And use it.
Yeah, it's a very potent topic, because if you are following a dream, it's likely that you're not doing the average thing. And if you're not doing the average thing, it's likely that many people will not see it as a viable option. And I mean, this is common. It's not necessary, but this is a common experience with someone following a path that isn't clear-cut, right? And so there becomes this battle of figuring out how to keep going without an external validation, right? Because, I mean, as you said, it can be a human need, that external validation. It motivates us, I guess. We feel supported when the way we see things are validated. And then if they're not, there's a lot of uncertainty. Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? If I'm the only one that thinks this is a good idea, is it really a good idea?
Right.
You get all these questions in your mind, and this can be friction on the path.
Totally. Yeah. Validation is going to be part of our lives no matter what path we're on.
Yeah.
For example, you could be on the regular job path. You could be a software engineer. And sure, maybe that's not like your all-time favorite dream, but you're doing it right now, and you might get a lot of validation for doing that job well from your coworkers and colleagues, and you can get a lot of validation from that. And then there might be other aspects of your life that you don't get as much validation on, and so that validation can really motivate us to put more energy to certain areas of our lives. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we're all going to run into different either validation or lack of validation in different areas of our lives, as long as it's with other humans. And even self-validation can be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely think probably one of the things we should go into is how to self-validate
Right.
amidst maybe a lack of external validation or validation for, because the thing is, we get validation and lack of validation for different things.
Right.
That is going to be a signal of what the average thinks, or like what the average thinking is.
Right.
I mean, not necessarily average. It could be from someone close to you that you value their opinion or something like
Right.
that. But this isn't always going to align with what you want to do. If it does, fantastic, then fine. If it doesn't, then you need some way of figuring out if this is the right path, right?
True. Yeah. We should talk about, well, what is validation? Because we haven't addressed that.
Sure.
For me, it's essentially getting recognized for your whatever you're doing, essentially getting recognized for the value you're bringing. That's how I see it. So like if someone does well on a project and their manager recognizes that and gives them a pat on the back, it's like they recognize the work they're doing and actively appreciate it. That's kind of like how I see it. It's like I see you, good job, keep going. That's what I'm thinking about, but what is your definition?
I would say more generally positive reinforcement. Because yes, the recognition, pats in the back type of thing, but also, I could be doing something that has nothing to do with you, and I think it's a good idea, and you also say, yes, it is a good idea. That's validation too, right? It's not necessarily that you're recognizing me for something,
Right.
but you're also giving me more confidence in what I think is good. So it's like a positive reinforcement, whether it's about something I've done and the value of it, or whether it's more generally good
I
to
see.
do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when we're on this path, I think maybe you want to pursue a path where it's not just a cookie cutter laid out path. It's not just like go to medical school, become a doctor, blah blah blah. Although, not gonna lie, that is a hard path.
That's a hard path.
It's just a more societally clear cut path. So I think more people will be like, yes, it's good. Go become a doctor. Whereas if you're going to try to be an artist or musician, I don't think the majority of people are going to be giving that same positive reinforcement to be like, go be an artist.
Sure.
You might have a parent that is very supportive, and then that's amazing. But I don't think a lot of people have that luxury of having people that believe in them in that difficult path. So we should start by talking about how do we navigate going towards a path where there might be not as much positive reinforcement. Should we listen? Should we be like, wait, there's no positive reinforcement, should I just not do this? Or should we be like, okay, in spite of this, how can I make it through without the validation?
Yeah. The way I think about it is the validation you get, or lack thereof, is one signal. It's not the signal. It's one signal to say whether or not this is a good idea. It's not the signal. I am lucky enough to have a parent that's very encouraging. And pretty much any path that I want to go down, as long as it's, a morally okay path or something like that. So it's a path I'm passionate about. My mom is passionate about it too, passionate about me going down it. I don't get discouraged to stay in the 9 to 5, stay in a stable financial whatever. So I'm lucky enough to have that. And maybe because I have that, it's very easy for me to drown out every other type of naysayer or lack of validation. So I guess the point of this is, one, it might be useful to have a source of support or encouragement, whether that's a person of like mind, whether that's actually, it could also be someone you don't know, right? We've talked about in the day of the internet, you have examples of people who walk your path. You have examples of people who are on the internet screaming from the rooftop saying, do this, like,
Right.
you can do it too.
In
Like,
books, even.
and books, right? So that could be the validation too, because the thing is, if someone has done it, then it can be done, right? Um, it's just a matter of how. And so I think a source of encouragement for the thing is a good thing to have, because you're going to need balanced opinions. But the other part of it is, as I was saying, the validation you get should be one signal.
Right.
So when a lot of people are saying, yes, do this, or no, don't do this, it's important to understand why they're saying that. Yes, do this. No, don't do this because it's scary. Well, okay. Scary. Does that mean it's a bad idea? Like, what's the fear? Has it been done before? All of these questions are different inputs into what you should use to make your decision. It shouldn't just be the opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
They're feedback, but what you actually decide to do should be, it shouldn't be completely only influenced by the feedback you get.
Right.
For example, if you want to be a musician and someone says don't be a musician, you don't immediately just quit.
Yeah. Like, all right, I guess.
Like,
guess I won't be a musician then.
yeah. But it still can be useful to have validation, because maybe your idea is pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not. So it's useful to have feedback,
Right.
but understand why that feedback is there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very important to understand why the feedback. Is it coming from a place of fear? Is it coming from a place of they don't think it's good for themselves? So that means they're projecting onto other people.
Right. Projection is a huge thing in the world of validation.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And yeah, it's just important to take other sources of whether or not it's a good idea.
Consider the source of the feedback.
Consider the source of the feedback and have other ways of evaluating if it's a good idea, not just from the feedback of people.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay. So then we come back to the lone musician. He wants to become a professional musician. The path is not laid out. He has, well, he has some support, some positive reinforcement, some negative.
Mm-hmm.
How do we go from there? Is that enough? Is that enough validation? And then what do we do when we don't have enough validation, but we still want to continue on that path?
I think one part of it is getting really clear on what your value is and what your values are, the hierarchy of your values. Because I've spoken a bit about the time I took some time off from school, right? And I was on this path to find happiness. My goal was to find happiness, right? And fulfillment. And at the time, it was clear to me that this was not a priority for many people. And when I went back home, I had a lot of opinions from friends, from family, all over. This is a bad idea. You go back to school, this, that, whatever, whatever. You're weak, like even that. I got that. But then the reason it didn't affect me that much is because I really sat down and I asked myself, do I want to be like any of these people?
Hmm.
And I decided, like, absolutely not.
Hmm.
Most people hate what they're doing, like hate the state of their lives. My whole point was to not be that, to like
Hmm.
have a fulfilled life.
So then that negative feedback was positive feedback.
Yes.
Because it was like, if you are giving me negative feedback and I don't want to be like you, then you're giving me positive feedback.
Exactly. Yeah, it kind of worked out that way.
That's a cool way of thinking of that.
Yeah. And that's because I got really clear on my value. And
Mm.
it was clear to me that what I valued is very different from what they valued.
Mm.
And so the feedback they were giving me was in alignment with a different path,
Mm.
maybe good feedback for a different path than
Sure.
the path I wanted to be on,
Sure.
or than the value I held most highly, right? And so that was one thing for me that helped me get through the lack of validation.
I see. Yeah, it's important. We often don't consider the source,
Yeah,
but if we take a step back and actually consider it, we're all just from a YouTube comment. I mean, we don't even know the person.
right.
Yeah, people state the state that which they give that validation in is a huge influence in
That too.
the actual validation they give.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Even the state you're in when you receive it.
oh, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, right.
Yeah.
So those are all factors we need to consider.
Mm.
So, what about self-validation on this path? Because sure, people are giving you negative feedback on don't do this, and you're like, I don't want to be like you, so this is good. But that still doesn't feel super duper encouraging.
Sure.
And we both know that validation can be really powerful fuel.
Sure.
So, can we get self-validation
Yeah.
from this?
Yeah. So, so the self-validation is interesting because it's gonna come from what you know to be true. And what I mean by that is,
Right.
yeah, like, for example, if you're playing football and what position do you play?
Midfield.
Midfield. Let's say you see a clear path to like scoring a goal or something.
Right.
Even though you're not a striker, like their defense is down, like whatever. You see a clear path to like scoring. Like you are confident in your ability. Like
Right.
that if you take this thing, even though like there's someone over there saying pass the ball, pass the ball. You see, like this is now two conflicting paths, right?
Right.
Based on your experience and what you know, you're pretty sure that you're gonna get a goal for the team. I don't know if this is a good example, but
It's you're going. Yeah. I think it is actually.
yeah. So yeah. So you make that play, you take that shot, right? So you're gonna have to rely on your experience, what you know, your calculation, and I mean, in a football match, that's like probably a split second decision. Often when we're considering a bigger decision in life, you have more time to make the decision.
You drag it out or whatever.
Right. But you have time to like calculate and say, if I do this and this and this and this, based on what I know, I should achieve my goal.
Sure.
Right. And that's one source of self validation if it just makes sense to you.
Right. I want to give an example from this week actually.
Yeah.
I was listening to one of my own songs that I released last year, and I was just like vibing to it, and I was like, this feels good. Like I feel very validated.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if I can listen to my own song and be like, damn, I fuck with this, then like I must be doing something right because one person at least likes it.
Right.
So that like that motivated me a lot actually. That was like, like at least if I'm making it for someone, it's for myself. And so it brings value.
Yeah.
So I saw firsthand or heard firsthand the value that it provided. And that was motivating for me. And that felt like validation.
Right.
But it wasn't like validation from other people. It was just, I felt it. And feelings are there.
Yeah.
Their reality is that they're here. So.
And that's connecting with your value, right? Because you want to make a song that you like and sounds good and you want to listen to, right? So if your value was, I don't give a shit if I like it, I only want it to get 1 million streams, I don't give a shit if I like it,
Sure.
then you would have to use different signals to get that validation for that goal. And maybe then the opinions of this person and that person might matter more. But if your goal is your own happiness or your own fulfillment or liking your song or like vibing to your song, then it's much easier to self-validate because you can get the immediate feedback.
Right. Yeah, and that can help us to make the journey a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
Because I need to get 1 million streams. You're not going to get validation. You're not going to get that dopamine until the 1 million streams.
Right.
And that could be a very long time.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So I think we can architect our validation sources in a way. So even if, let's say, a goal of mine is to get 1 million streams.
Sure.
Right? Just like we have to break down big goals into smaller goals or break down big tasks into smaller tasks like we talked about last episode in order to motivate ourselves to not procrastinate on it, things like that.
Right.
Maybe break down the validation into smaller, or for example, if I want 1 million streams, how can I architect a path to that which can be self-validating and self-reinforcing? If I want 1 million streams and that's my goal, what if I can create a way in which liking my own songs will get me 1 million streams, right? So this is reminding me of Rick Rubin's book, right? His philosophy is fuck the audience. Kind of an uncommon philosophy in the music industry. His philosophy is fuck the audience, make something you like. Because if you really, really, really like it, like actually really, really like it, other people will too, and it will do well. And so if I choose to believe that, then I can say, okay, the path to 1 million streams is really, 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 really liking my songs and consistently making songs that I really, 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 really like.
Right. And that validation, you get it much quicker because you're just like, I know that I like this song.
Yes.
The validation you get from someone else could be bullshit. They're just like lying to you. They're like, sure, I love your song, but they hate it.
Yeah.
But like you know.
Yeah.
So if you know at least one person likes your song, then at least that gives you a higher chance of saying, okay, at least if one person, myself, likes this song, then there's a higher chance of other people liking it.
Yeah.
Than if the one person I know truly, whether I like the song or not, doesn't like it. Versus likes it.
Right. And so this like mental gymnastics that we're doing, well, if I like it, then it's more like this, blah, blah, blah. I think that's necessary for breaking it down so that you get self-validation quicker.
Right. And that self-validation will motivate. It will add a dopamine to the fire,
Yes. Yes.
and it will just make you more likely to keep taking that next step, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
And so if I decide, okay, if I really like my songs and if I'm really consistent at making songs frequently and all of that, then I will get there because I believe that, right? If I make songs that I really, really like, and I like this song more than the last song, the next song I like more, the next song I like even more, and I have a consistent output, and I'm getting better and better and better. And if I feel like I'm getting better and better and better because I'm liking my songs more and more and more, then I will get to a point where many people will like it, right? Then I can detach myself from the, okay, right now I don't need many people to like it. I just need to focus on the consistency and how good I feel the song is, and then I can keep just walking the path that way. It reminds me of a quote I heard which says, when you're driving at night, when you're driving at night with your headlights on, you can't see very far. You can only see a certain distance in front of you, but you can make the whole journey that way, right? And
sure.
that's how I think we kind of have to architect when we have like a goal that's maybe not as self-validating. We have to have a closer,
Right.
more self-validating, immediate kind of feedback loop with ourselves that we can make the whole journey that way.
Right. I mean, even if you're not driving at night, even if you're driving during the day, you can't. There's no chance you can see the entire route unless it's like a very short route.
Right.
And that kind of goes the same with our bigger goals.
Mm-hmm.
If they're big enough, then we're not going to be able to see the path.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to just do what's right in front of us.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over again.
Over and over and over.
So what's in front of us has to be able to feed us
Yes.
in a way that allows us to keep going.
Yes. And then what's important is to be convinced that doing this small thing over and over and over will get us to the path.
Right.
Or be convinced that if it's not getting us there, we will correct course. Right? And so if you're convinced of one of those things or both of those things, then you can be more confident in making that journey.
Right. And the reinforcement, I guess, comes back to the reinforcement here. That can help us figure out what turn we need to take in some scenarios.
Yes.
Sure, we know the path, but maybe this one thing someone said and the source is reliable. Maybe they've actually done this path before.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, we are going to choose to actually value this person's reinforcement, their validation or lack thereof, and use that to maybe course correct. So in these scenarios, we know the path we want to go down, but maybe we don't know the exact turn to take here. That can be helpful. If we take it personally, though, it can sometimes get us down.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to say on that?
So one of the big things to consider is the reliability of the source. Right. This goes back to analyzing the feedback, the source of the feedback, and the motivation for the feedback. Because a feedback that's like, no, you could never do that, versus watch out for this obstacle, or doing this in that particular way would lead to this, which is not the right thing. It's better to do this instead, or something like that. That's a very different feedback than, no, you could never do this.
Right. Well, I wanted to bring up the song Dopamine and how we got some validation or lack of validation from someone who is a rapper.
Yeah.
I thought we could talk about that.
Wait, when did we get?
Futuristic.
Ah, yes. I forget what he said. Do you remember the feedback he gave?
Well, you submitted the song to him for him to like review it, and he was like listening to it, and so since he's a rapper and he's been down the music path, we assume that his feedback is valuable in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he said like the mix was like mid. I thought he said that, and then he was like saying how you're like bottomless margarita.
Yeah,
It was like a little weird. But then he also kind of said like the idea of the song was like good.
yeah.
So he gave like a few feedbacks, and so it was just I feel like that would be a good topic
Right.
here
Yeah.
because in this scenario the reliability of the source is actually pretty decent. I mean,
Mhm.
you kind of paid for the feedback, so
Yeah.
assume his feedback has some value.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I thought the bottomless margaritas part was fine.
Right.
So
right.
that's just like a difference of tastes. But I just want to like bring that up when you're talking about reliability of the source.
Yeah.
So maybe the source is reliable, but their feedback is still, hey, this thing needs some work.
Yeah. And so, to be clear, this is a song we have together called Dopamine. It's on all streaming platforms. Yeah. um, but yeah, we submitted for feedback to Futuristic. Shout out Futuristic. I love Futuristic music. Um, yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny. He did say he likes the idea of the song. Uh, he did, yeah, and he did say he doesn't like the mix. He said the mix needs work. And then that part, I think, yeah, the bottomless margarita. He was like, whatever you're doing with your voice, that's crazy. Like, don't do that. So it was funny. So he gave like mix of feedback. It was validating that he likes the idea of the song.
True.
Uh, it. So he said the mix is not good. Um, I found that to be valuable feedback. I'm I would not call myself an expert mixer, right?
Sure.
I I can see the difference between my mixes and a mix of, let's say, top 100 songs that I really like or something like that. Professional mixes, let's say.
Right.
And so, as a matter of fact, that was validating because I have the same opinion.
Mm.
Not validating in the sense that I'm like, oh, I'm great at this, but validating in the sense that this is something I can work on.
Right.
And the fact that that's his feedback, it's like, okay,
There is room for improvement.
there is room for improvement. If I improve the mix, it would be a better song.
Right.
Right. So this does guide, the path. And there's piece of the feedback that we did not take. Right.
Right.
The stylistic thing about what I was doing with my voice, that's I guess the question is, why do you take one feedback and not the other? Yeah. How do you tease apart a piece of feedback that is stylistic or personal preference versus one that is crucial to the path? And honestly, I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but my thoughts are you do have to rely on your own judgment. And you can understand based on your experience, create a framework of probably what are the highest leverage things, I like to say, or what's the 20% that's going to give you 80% of the results, right? If the mix is trash and I'm doing weird stuff with my voice, or rather, if the mix is trash and I fix or I change my voice to something more normal, that's not going to be as useful as a perfect mix with doing something strange with my voice in that part. Like the perfecting a mix would be 80% of the result. So probably think about, okay, if I change only this one thing, would that propel me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like what thing is essential versus nitpicky?
Exactly.
That's totally true. We got to use discernment when we are looking at feedback. You have to discern the source.
Mm-hmm.
You have to discern whether it's a high leverage point or just like a stylistic thing that doesn't matter as much.
Mm-hmm.
And discernment requires trusting your gut. I feel like it, like in that weird voice part, I was like, nah, I like that part.
Yeah.
And for me, that feedback that he gave was valid and it's his opinion, but it's not something that I personally wanted you to change.
Yeah.
So that was me just being like, nah.
Yeah.
But like the mixed part is valid.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's discernment, trusting how we feel about something,
Mm-hmm.
and being confident in our own choices as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, again, someone says, "Oh, you're not good at this," and then you just instantly quit. That's not.
Yeah.
So we got to use the part that trusts ourselves. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So discernment and trusting ourselves
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
But then I guess the idea of the song being validated, or the idea of the song being validated, was good.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, what really was validating was actually publishing the song eventually.
Mm.
I think that was the most validating thing, having it on like all the platforms and stuff,
Mm.
and making the videos. I think that's the most validating, because for self-validating, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. And it felt like positive, it felt like an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what I wanted to underscore,
Yeah.
is that felt like taking a step.
Right.
And me recognizing that that step was taken was like positively reinforcing for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kept my foot on the gas on the path. Like we are making progress on the path.
Yeah.
Some way or another.
Yeah.
Felt like progress.
Yeah.
So that feeling of progress can be important
Mm-hmm.
on the path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if one of the things you value is the consistency of it, and one of the things you value is the satisfaction of having a body of work out there,
Right.
right? Then someone else saying, "Oh, but you didn't get this on playlists or something," or
Some hater would say that.
right?
Then
Then
you're a good hater, actually.
um, that doesn't matter because it's not necessarily the value you're after.
Right.
And
Right.
so again, it goes back to being clear on what the value is, and if the source of the feedback is in alignment with your value.
Right. And building a body of work is not, it's not like, oh, if you build a body of work, then you can't get on playlists. It's not like, it's like if you build a body of work, then your likelihood of getting on playlists is increased anyway.
Right, exactly.
So for me, having the goal that I can control, which is create a body of work,
Mm-hmm.
is more important to me. I care more about that than getting on a playlist.
Mm-hmm.
Getting on a playlist might be someone else's dream, but I feel like if I do this thing that I can control, my likelihood of these other things
Right.
is also increased anyway.
Right.
And I like focusing on what I can control, basically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that makes me feel empowered when I take a step in that direction.
Sure. Yeah.
It's an achievable goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I guess we also haven't really spoken much about how to mentally deal with negative feedback.
Right. That's what I was trying to get at with the taking the thing personally.
Yeah.
How the lack of validation or validation, if we take it personally, how can it hinder us on the path, essentially?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on.
Yeah. Taking it personally can really demotivate someone.
Mm.
I think it's important to thicken one's skin. I say this carefully, but I do think it's very valuable to have a thicker skin in doing, especially in doing contrarian things. I mean, it's
Well, it's the nature of not having as much validation. If you go on the normal path, the 9 to 5 path, you're going to get a lot of validation from people if you do that path well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you do a path that's not so well trodden,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get nearly as much validation because there's not people on that path.
Right.
There are not many travelers there.
Right.
On the highway of travelers, there's a lot of people there.
Right, exactly.
So naturally, you're probably going to get more validation.
Mm-hmm.
And like what we were talking about in the beginning, like most people, their families just want them to get a 9 to 5 job, go to college, do that whole thing, get the stability.
Yeah.
And so if you're not doing that, you might get a lot of negative feedback. And if you don't, if you're not, if you're not able to handle that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the thick skin comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not able to handle that, you're just going to crack.
Yeah.
So how do you not crack under that new pressure
Yeah.
of doing something different?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple things. One is reframing it, right? Like one is same kind of thing how I reframed people's feedback and realized that, oh, I don't want to be like them. So
Right.
them giving me this feedback is an indication of what not to do.
Right.
So that's one way of reframing it. Another way that's along a similar line is if you are
I think I was talking, about the big dreams. Like you don't have to have a big dream
Yep.
to be successful.
or fulfilled.
Right. I think we're just saying that because the amount of paths in society are limited. And so they're not going to be able to encompass all the different things people want to do.
Yeah.
So many people are doing things that they don't want to.
Yeah.
But if you are doing something where you get a lot of validation and you actually like doing it
Mm-hmm.
and you're fulfilled, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not telling you not to do that and go be a superstar. We're not telling you to stop being a carpenter. I mean, we talked about carpentry on the last, or being a fisherman on the last damn episode.
Right. Right.
We're talking about fulfillment here, not mega achievement that looks good to someone else.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, this is just a quick aside to validate those who do want just a stable type of path.
Right. Fulfillment is kind of about how you feel on the inside.
Yes.
How that manifests outwardly depends on you.
Yes.
But whether you feel fulfilled is also, it's reflected on the inside. So it could come in any form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But back to the main point of dealing with a negative feedback, right? What helps me is just realizing what I don't want to be. Like, I personally do want an extraordinary life. I do have big dreams and stuff. And so for me, I've realized that I don't want to be average.
Mm.
And so the average feedback doesn't apply to me.
Mm.
The average sentiment is actually, if I were getting, validation from the standpoint of the average feedback, then I would know that I'm not living an extraordinary life. Then I would know that I'm not on my path.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But if you have billionaires being like, oh, Zale, you're such a bitch. You should just go back to your 9 to 5. Then you'd reconsider. But I don't think any billionaires would do that.
I doubt it. Even if they did, I don't know if I'd reconsider. That would be strange to me.
If Elon Musk was like,
This was like, go back to my 9 to 5, I would be like, nah, fuck you, dude.
but he would never do that.
um,
At least I don't think so. But
I would see it as more of a challenge, honestly.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's one way, kind of reframing it as to, aligning with what your values are and seeing if that feedback is in alignment with your values. And then the other thing is, so in regards to the thick skin, it's still possible to achieve whatever goal you have without a thick skin. There's so many musicians, and a very common archetype of a musician is someone who's really sensitive, right? Who is really affected by a lot of this feedback.
Sure.
It happens, and they use it to fuel their music and their art. And I mean, sometimes they take drugs and stuff to cope. I mean, there's a lot of different flavors.
That's fair. It can fuel your music.
It can fuel your music.
Or whatever.
I would say it's a dangerous way to really be, if you're really after fulfillment.
Yeah.
Being so affected by negative feedback is gonna be tough to to really be fulfilled. And so the thick skin in my opinion, is a strength.
Right.
It's like a moat around your fulfillment.
Hmm. It's like a force field
Yeah.
where you can choose whether to let something in or not. It's not, things can't just penetrate your field left and right. You're like, stop right there.
Yeah.
Okay, you can come in. Or
Yeah.
like, nah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's the ability to choose whether to take the feedback or not.
Right. Right. And how to have a thick skin. We might need a whole episode on that, honestly.
I feel like it's exposure, but yeah, we could have an episode on that. I also feel like it can be adaptive. Personally, like I felt like I needed to have a thick skin, like in school, because I didn't feel very much positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, then I don't care what anyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I like coped with that.
Right.
But then that has its own issues because when you want to have relationships, it's important to care what other people think so you can
Yeah.
be the best for them.
Yeah.
So I think I've had to like release that a little bit, but
Yeah.
I still do feel like I definitely consider the source. Like
Yeah.
I'm able to uh, not give a shit as much for if someone says something and I don't like know them very well.
Yeah. 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 But see that for some reason was your natural response, was your natural defense mechanism.
Yes, yeah, I feel like it was a defense
Yeah.
for sure.
But not everyone defaults to that defense mechanism.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some people might do the opposite.
Right. Right. And so it's interesting. It's just something I would want to think a lot more about and probably research some too. How to have a thick skin. What makes some people thicken their skin versus, break down or conform. Versus,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not just having a thick skin. It's just I don't think thick skin, like for me, that means like kind of numbness. But I know that's not what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we can come up with a better term. It's almost like a resilience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like in some sense, you do want to be affected by some feedback.
Sure. Yeah.
You want to let
some things in. Yeah, definitely.
but just not let most things, or not. You should be able to decide whether you want to let something in.
Yeah.
That way, you're not controlled.
Yeah.
You're not on the whims of other people's feedback.
Yeah.
They can't control you essentially, and I know that's something you care a lot about.
Yeah.
Not letting other people control your emotions.
Absolutely. And I think it goes back. I think it goes back to what I really value. Right. I value being fulfilled. I value being in control. If I at any point say you made me angry, I've already lost control of myself. I don't like that.
You value autonomy, sovereignty.
I value sovereignty and autonomy,
right.
and freedom.
Right.
And so,
and you're not truly free if someone can make you angry.
If someone can make me angry, then who am like I'm someone's plaything. It's how it feels to me. If someone can make me do anything, then I'm not really free. And so,
and you value freedom.
I value freedom. And so it's my responsibility, again, going back to radical ownership. We had the episode on ownership. It's my responsibility to be in charge of how I respond to things and how things affect me. And personally, what has helped me in this realm in terms of actual practice is honestly spiritual practices like meditation. And I used to just listen to Alan Watts every night and fall asleep, and then now I think the world is just a game and nothing is real. So I don't know if that's the route you need to take, but that helped me. And certain philosophies like in Muay Thai, the school I go to has this philosophy of using anger as a tool, like commanding it when you need it and then letting it go completely when you don't need it. So when you're about to be aggressive, you just be aggressive, and then at the flip of a switch, you can end it and stop being angry. You use anger when you need a brute force solution, for example,
Right.
and when you no longer need it, it's gone.
Right. Like if I'm trying to knock down a door, that anger is going to be useful.
Yeah.
An angry punch is going to be harder than a non-angry punch.
Right.
But once I break it down, I don't need the anger anymore.
Exactly. So these philosophies and practices and
Right.
um,
Yeah, these are key.
yeah.
These are key for having that resilience,
Yeah.
that underlying structure, I want to call it, that like holds yourself together. I don't know how to call that, but
yeah,
like your base, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that can really make a huge difference in terms of even our just day-to-day feelings of meaning or how we look at things can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I guess a book I would recommend honestly is The Courage to be Disliked. I believe.
Well, that's a good one for this episode.
Yeah. That's honestly one of my favorite books. I believe it shapes a lot of how I think about things. And the crux of, or one of the key tenets of it is where I look for validation, where I look for meaning and connection and community and validation. And once I have that, I don't need that from anything else. And what I consider to be my work and my responsibilities versus someone else's. You liking me, that's your responsibility. That's your work. That's your task. That's your world. That's not my job. My job might be being a good person. And if I feel like I'm a good person because I've determined that doing certain things is evidence that I'm putting good into the world, then that's all I need. I don't need you to recognize it if I recognize it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just one of the things. Courage to be Disliked. I did not do it justice at all, and that's like, it's a whole book. It's not just one idea.
Right.
So I would recommend it.
Yeah, I actually listened to it, but I feel like I didn't like it that much. But I feel like maybe I just didn't get. Maybe I need to listen to it again.
I loved it. It's one of my favorite books.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on?
Nah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, as you go about your day or night, we have some final parting thoughts or prompts to consider, take you through exercises you can do to put this into practice. Do you have any?
Yeah. As you go about your life, ponder this. What are your sources of validation? And what kind of influence do they have on your activities in the world? And just think about if those are the kinds of activities that you would want to be doing. And if you don't, consider some of the tips we mentioned here for getting that self-validation.
My prompt is to write down what you value, like what you really, really value in this life, and see if over the next week any feedback you get, or just think about feedback you've gotten in the past, or opinions you've gotten in the past, and filter it through that filter of your values and see if it's in alignment with your values. But yeah, the point is to really get clear on what you really value and to start filtering things through that. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, you're the goat. Yeah. um, cool. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, share it with a friend, and let's also have some discussions in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. Give us some validation or lack thereof. No, we love discussing ideas and things. So cool. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your life. Bye.